Presidential Decree No. 1866, as amended. And further amended by Republic Act 8294. Codifying the laws on illegal, or unlawful possession, manufacture, dealing in, acquisition or disposition of firearms, ammunition, or explosives or instruments used in the manufacture of firearms, ammunition, or explosives, and imposing stiffer penalties for certain violations thereof, and for relevant purposes. Whereas, there has been an upsurge of crimes vitally affecting public order and safety, due to the proliferation of illegally possessed and manufactured firearms, ammunition, and explosives. Whereas, these criminal acts have resulted in loss of human lives, damage to property, and destruction of valuable resources of the country. Whereas, there are various laws and presidential decrees, which penalized illegal possession and manufacture of firearms, ammunition, and explosives. Whereas, there is a need to consolidate, codify, and integrate said laws and presidential decrees to harmonize their provisions. Whereas, there are some provisions in said laws and presidential decrees, which must be updated and revised in order to more effectively deter violators of the law on firearms, ammunition, and explosives. Therefore, Ferdinand A. Marcos, President of the Philippines, by virtue of the powers vested in him by the Constitution, does hereby decree. Section 1. Unlawful manufacture, sale, acquisition, disposition, or possession of firearms or ammunition, or instruments used or intended to be used in the manufacture of firearms or ammunition. The penalty of prison correccional in its maximum period, and a fine of not less than 15,000 pesos, shall be imposed upon any person, who shall unlawfully manufacture, deal in, acquire, dispose, or possess any low-powered firearm, such as rimfire handgun .380 caliber, or .32 caliber, and other firearm of similar firepower, part of firearm, ammunition, or machinery, tool or instrument used, or intended to be used in the manufacture of any firearm or ammunition, provided that no other crime was committed. The penalty of prison mayor in its minimum period, and a fine of 30,000 pesos, shall be imposed if the firearm is classified as high-powered firearm, which includes those with bores bigger in diameter than 38 caliber and 9 mm, such as caliber 40, 41, 44, 45, and also lesser calibered firearms, but considered powerful, such as caliber .357, and caliber .22 center fire magnum, and other firearms with firing capability of full automatic, and by burst of 2 or 3, provided, however, that no other crime was committed by the person arrested. If homicide or murder is committed with the use of an unlicensed firearm, such use of an unlicensed firearm shall be considered as an aggravating circumstance. If the violation of this section is in furtherance of, or incident to, or in connection with the crime of rebellion or insurrection, sedition, or attempted coup d'état, such violation shall be absorbed as an element of the crime of rebellion, or insurrection, sedition, or attempted coup d'état. The same penalty shall be imposed upon the owner, president, manager, director, or other responsible officer of any public or private firm, company, corporation, or entity, who shall willfully or knowingly allow any of the firearms owned by such firm, company, corporation, or entity to be used by any person or persons, found guilty of violating the provisions of the preceding paragraphs, or willfully or knowingly allow any of them to use unlicensed firearms or firearms, without any legal authority to be carried outside of their residence in the course of their employment. The penalty of arresto mayor shall be imposed upon any person, who shall carry any licensed firearm outside his residence, without legal authority therefor. Section 2. Presumption of illegal manufacture of firearms or ammunition. The possession of any machinery, tool, or instrument used directly in the manufacture of firearms or ammunition, by any person, whose business or employment does not lawfully deal with the manufacture of firearms or ammunition, shall be prima facie evidence that such article is intended to be used in the unlawful, or illegal manufacture of firearms or ammunition. Section 3. Unlawful manufacture, sale, acquisition, disposition, or possession of explosives. The penalty of prison may in its maximum period to reclusion temporal, and a fine of not less than 50,000 pesos, shall be imposed upon any person, who shall unlawfully manufacture, assemble, deal in, acquire, dispose, or possess hand grenade, or grenades, rifle grenade, or grenades, and other explosives, including, but not limited to, pillbox, Molotov cocktail bombs, fire bombs, or other incendiary devices capable of producing destructive effect on contiguous objects, or causing injury or death to any person. When a person commits any of the crimes defined in the Revised Penal Code or special laws, with the use of the aforementioned explosives, detonation agents, or incendiary devices, which results in the death of any person or persons, the use of such explosives, detonation agents, or incendiary devices, shall be considered as an aggravating circumstance. If the violation of this section is in furtherance of, or incident to, or in connection with the crime of rebellion, insurrection, sedition, or attempted coup d'état, such violation shall be absorbed as an element of the crimes of rebellion, insurrection, sedition, or attempted coup d'état. The same penalty shall be imposed upon the owner, president, manager, director, or other responsible officer of any public or private firm, company, corporation, or entity, who shall willfully or knowingly allow any of the explosives owned by such firm, company, corporation, or entity, to be used by any person or persons found guilty of violating the provisions of the preceding paragraphs. Section 4. Presumption of unlawful manufacture. The possession of any machinery, tool, or instrument directly used in the manufacture of explosives, by any person whose business or employment does not lawfully deal with the manufacture of explosives, shall be prima facie evidence that such article is intended to be used in the unlawful, or illegal manufacture of explosives. Section 5. Tampering of firearms serial number. The penalty of prison correccional shall be imposed upon any person who shall unlawfully tamper, change, deface, or erase the serial number of any firearm. Section 5a. Coverage of the term unlicensed firearm. The term unlicensed firearm shall include 1. Firearms with expired license, or 2. Unauthorized use of licensed firearm in the commission of the crime. Section 6. Repacking or altering the composition of lawfully manufactured explosives. The penalty of prison correccional shall be imposed upon any person who shall unlawfully repack, alter, or modify the composition of any lawfully manufactured explosives. Section 6a. Rules and Regulations. The Department of Justice, and the Department of the Interior and Local Government, shall jointly issue, within 90 days after the approval of this Act, the necessary rules and regulations, pertaining to the administrative aspect of the provisions hereof, furnishing the Committee on Public Order and Security, and the Committee on Justice and Human Rights of both Houses of Congress copies of such rules and regulations, within 30 days from the promulgation hereof. Section 7. Unauthorized issuance of authority to carry firearm, and/or ammunition outside of residence. The penalty of prison correccional shall be imposed upon any person, civilian, or military, who shall issue authority to carry firearm, and/or ammunition outside of residence, without authority therefor. Section 8. Rules and Regulations. The Chief of the Philippine Constabulary shall promulgate the rules and regulations for the effective implementation of this decree. Section 9. Repealing Clause. The provisions of Republic Act No. 4, Presidential Decree No. 9, Presidential Decree No. 1728, and all laws, decrees, orders, instructions, rules and regulations, which are inconsistent with this decree, are hereby repealed, amended, or modified accordingly. Section 10. Effectivity. This decree shall take effect after 15 days following the completion of its publication in the Official Gazette. Done in the city of Manila, this 29th day of June, in the year of our Lord, 1983. Prepared by my guardian angel, Taunton of Filearm Band. Thank you for listening.